What's going on, homosexuals? It's Coach Nat, and I'm back again bragging about my clients because they're amazing and it's super easy to do that. So today I got the homie Emily joining me for our conversation. Welcome, Emily.
Hello, happy to be here.
Awesome. Introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you and what brought you to the queer gym.
All right, I'm Emily. She, they pronouns. I'm originally from Iowa, but I live in the Chicago area now, into horror specifically, horror books, horror movies, horror everything. In addition to that, I'm just kind of an all around nerd. I like pop culture. I like all of that. And what brought me to the queer gym is I felt like I had established a pretty good routine of like going on walks and eating mindfully as best I could without really kind of knowing what I was doing, just kind of winging it. But I really wanted to kind of level up both of those things, the workouts and the eating. I wanted to get a better hold on my nutrition. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 4 years ago now. And so that kind of made me reevaluate taking care of myself and taking care of this body for as long as I can and as long as it's doing what I want it to do. So, yeah, that is when my journey kind of really started initially. And then, yeah, this was an opportunity to level up with some guidance because I really felt like I needed guidance. I couldn't do it on my
That
own.
part. That part.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so you got diagnosed with MS. You were already doing working out and eating healthy before
Yeah.
you joined the gym, and the gym was kind of taking it to the next level.
Exactly. Yeah. And my workouts, I should say, were not to diminish them, but like walking. Basically, I would go to my fitness center at my apartment. I would hit the elliptical or hit the treadmill and walk. And when beautiful days out, I like to go on walks outside. But that was kind of where it stopped. I was doing that and feeling good about it. But I was like, I want to do more. I know I can do more, but I do really well with instruction and with like having a teacher or a coach. So I had a feeling that that was kind of something I needed. And
Yeah,
then the queer gym came around. So it's perfect timing.
and here we are.
Yeah,
How would you describe kind of your day to day before joining the queer gym?
sure. So, like I said, I started kind of getting in the habit of getting up in the mornings and going to, do walks before work, which had benefits not just like physically, but for my mental health as well. It's
Right.
been a good way to just start the day and clear my head and do something for myself before I'm off to work to do things for other people. So that, like I said, was a pretty good routine. And I was eating, again, what I thought was mindfully, or it was mindfully, but I had a misunderstanding clearly of what kind of like a calorie deficit was. I kind of fell prey to the larger culture telling us that we should eat as little as we can and burn as much as we can. So I was like, perfect. Calorie deficit is just eating as little as I can and burning as many calories, on the treadmill. But that left me exhausted. Like I would get home, at the end of the day after work, just completely exhausted, completely wiped out, not interested really in doing kind of much of anything. So that was
Well, yeah.
before.
Yeah, if you're working your ass out at the gym and then not eating much, yeah.
Yeah, turns out that doesn't work. I know it's obvious to everybody else, but to me, it was not.
So you were primarily getting movement in through walks before the
Yeah,
queer gym, and
yeah,
then you started the queer gym 3 months ago. You've
yeah.
done about 25 workouts or
Mhm.
so far. What has
Yes.
changed for you from when you were doing your own walks to now working out with us?
So much has changed. Also, the workouts plus the nutrition, having nutrition coaching and logging my meals, I've lost 10 pounds. So that's incredible. I have generally more energy throughout my day, all day. And I just have a lot more, I guess, motivation kind of across the board, not just with workouts, but kind of with everything. It's just kind of been this renewed sense of like, yeah, I can fucking do it. I can fucking do anything. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. And then I've noticed, like I said, with dropping weight has been great, but I've also just noticed, the pounds are gone. So my pants are a little looser, but just kind of looking at my body differently. Like my legs look different than they did before. I don't know. That sounds so weird to say, but like I barely recognize them. So in a good way. So yeah, it's just been a whole change, not just in terms of the nutrition or the fitness. It's been kind of just a global change across the board.
That's awesome. I mean, 10 pounds in 12 weeks, that's roughly a little bit under a pound a week.
Mm,
That's awesome. And that is sustainable.
yeah.
And you've been doing this by eating more?
Eating more. Yeah. Yeah. Which was a struggle for me initially because, I mean, God bless Coach Taylor telling me to like get those calories. And I was just like, I felt so uncomfortable because I felt so like, no, I shouldn't do that. I can't do that. I can't, for whatever reason, I can't eat that much. But then when I started food logging and I was just like, all right, well, if you want me to just keep eating, I'll just keep eating. The matter of obviously what I'm eating, which is extra also important. But yeah, no, I've been eating more. So my body's been able to use what I've been eating as fuel to burn. Amazing,
Right?
right? So simple.
Had you done food logging before on your own?
No,
So this is your first time ever food logging.
my first time. Yeah, I was very intimidated kind of at the thought of it. of
Yeah.
food logging. I think I had, again, a very probably naive view of what it was. I thought like I had to know all of the information about the food that I was logging to be able to log it. So I needed to know like I need to know the whole macro breakdown. I needed to know like the nutrition information to be able to log something. So there was that part of it that I found it intimidating.
Mhm.
And then it was just another thing of just not knowing where to start or how to even do it.
And once you actually got started with the process of food logging, what did you think of how we teach you?
I think it's great. What I really appreciated with Coach Taylor is, we started like initially I was just logging breakfast. And so she could just see what I was eating and we were kind of going from there. And then with the additional resources that are available, logging resources, it's been really helpful and it's made it all make a lot more sense. I appreciate when things make sense that I'm doing so I can kind of see it all coming together. So having those tools and having to start logging, in the app, kind of starting slow and starting small with the logging has helped me too. And now I'm like, Coach Taylor will tell you, I'm fully obsessed with it. Like even when she's been like, now we're gonna do lunches, so you don't have to log everything. I was like, oh, I'm gonna log everything because I can and I love to see it filled out. I'm obsessed with just having a complete checklist.
Well, yeah, there comes a point where like once you understand it and it doesn't feel overwhelming, now you're like kind of become a nerd about the data and you're like, I'm just curious. I want to see how much protein I'm getting total and I want to see how much calories I'm getting total.
Exactly. And kind of like when I'm pre-logging, and so I'm looking at like how it's breaking down like for a day, and I'm like, oh, I'm at this level by like dinner time. But that's become again something that seems it's accessible now. It makes sense to me now, and I like the way I'm
Mhm.
thinking about it. So that's a huge, huge change.
How do you think it would have gone for you if you would have approached food logging on your own for the first time versus having guidance with it?
Oh gosh, I think I would have gotten frustrated. I get real frustrated real quick when things don't make sense. I would have been half-assing it and just kind of been like, "Oh, well, I don't know. I guess there's this. I guess there's that." And I don't know if it would have changed in terms of like what I need to be doing is eating X amount of grams of protein for breakfast and then
Mhm.
X amount of grams of protein for lunch. Without having that kind of guidepost, it would have just been like just me eating whatever and then logging whatever and just kind of being like, well, I don't know, there it is. Like that's my food log. It was similar to like because I have a Fitbit. And so, my daily step goal has always been 10,000 steps. But before joining the gym, days that I didn't reach 10,000, it's kind of like, okay, so I didn't reach 10,000. Like, not like whatever, it is what it is. But then since joining and kind of having that on my checklist to do every day, I've just noticed how like I make just little efforts to be like, well, but how can I get to 10,000 steps? It's not like just an arbitrary, like it's there. If I get to it, I do. If I don't, I don't. It's more
Mm.
just like, but how can I get to it to make sure I
Yeah.
am? So
Yeah.
that's
'Cause
been a huge change.
I think too often we focus on the outcome
Yeah,
versus the input. Like,
for
yes,
sure.
we want the outcome to become this, but in order for that to happen, we need to input certain habits or efforts or
Hmm.
just awareness.
Completely.
So it sounds like you got a pretty good hold of the nutrition and the working out 3 times a week.
I feel like it, yeah. I feel like
Is
this
that
has been
surprising for you?
yeah, it is surprising. So the workouts were initially, like, a little bit of a struggle for me, but no, did I think I would ever be somebody who was doing an 11 AM Sunday workout and PM Tuesday workout at 7 PM Thursday workout? No, I didn't think I would ever be that person because it always like, well, if it didn't fit in my daytime, then it can't happen. It's a self-defeating attitude. I realize that. I will completely admit that and own that. But yeah, and even, again, with eating before and nutrition, I was finding recipes, online, and I had a general sense of like what is good to eat and what is not so good to eat. But just in terms of how much I need, I feel like, again, doing it on my own, I just would have been lost
Yeah.
and would have given up probably real quick because I would be like, well, guess it's just not for me then. It's not achievable for me. Peace. I tried it.
Do you wanna take a guess at the average amount of time people burn out in from the food logging?
Like a couple weeks.
3 days.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. It's a commitment because that's what I love about all of this is that it is a commitment, and I enjoy the accountability of that commitment, but I'm not great at committing to things just like on my own. Like I don't have enough like self-discipline to just be like, I got to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Having the checklist and having my daily tasks that I can put on like the home screen of my phone. So I'm like
Oh,
excited to
yeah.
get up in the morning and like start checking things off. Like, let's go. I love it.
Love a good checklist, right?
Yes, I love it. I'm very
How
type A in that way.
how has the accountability experience been with you and your coach?
It's been fantastic. Like, I'm also I'm also that bitch who, like, doesn't wanna get in trouble. So, like, at the beginning, I was asking Coach Taylor, like, so many questions, like, but is this right? Like, do I do it like this though? Like, but how about this one? This one? And she's so patient and so wonderful. And I was surprised. I've played sports, so I had coaches there, but I have never had a coach like this. So
Mm.
when, she had a heads up about like what my week was going to look like, the fact that if she knew that I was planning for like this day that was going to be a little bit heavier, like work wise, that she was checking in on me to see how my day was going. And I was like, oh my God. I'm also that person that's like, oh, you don't have to. Like, no, no, no. I'm good. You don't have to check in on me. It's fine. But knowing that that's just what she does and that's who she is fantastic. And checking in on me when like she hasn't heard from me for a day or so, just to make sure I'm all right.
Yeah.
That is something I never would have expected or anticipated. I went into this thinking it was going to be very like, it was just nothing on the gym, but just expecting that it would just be much more like clinical. Like you
Yeah.
show up, you do your shit. I don't even know what I really thought, but like clearly not what it is.
No, that's something that, man, like I gotta say, like people joining maybe just a coaching program in general, like have very low expectations
Yeah.
of a coach.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna check in about my macros and my workouts, but like that's it. And,
Yes. They're going to
and
tell me if I'm not doing shit right.
yeah, and not to toot our own horn, but like I have a coach. I've had lots of different fitness nutrition coaches. I'm part of business groups and I know a lot of the ins and outs of how other coaching programs work. And I have not found one that goes above and beyond
Yeah.
macros and muscles.
Right. No, it's so holistic. Like I was home the other week in Iowa taking care of my mom after her surgery. Coach was checking in on me to see how it was going. She knew it was going to be a struggle for me being out of my routine. She also wanted to make sure my mom was okay. So like that level, and I still being somebody who feels like, oh, you don't have to. Like it's okay, I'm fine. But the genuine connection is something I could have never expected or would never expect. I don't think so. It's just kind of been like, oh my God, like I'm a real person to her. That's amazing.
I do love when we send out, like those types of texts of just like, hey, haven't heard from you, checking in on you, or
Yeah.
like, hey, I know today was going to be crazy at work. I love y'all's responses. Y'all get so like gushy and giddy about it. Like,
Yeah.
if you're saying like, oh my God, like you give a fuck. I'm like, well, yeah. And
Right.
honestly, like, I don't comprehend why most coaching programs don't go beyond the muscles and the macros because the muscles and the macros are the symptom of the stress we got going on in life. So if I can coach you on how to mitigate the shit that's got you stressed the fuck out, you're going to make better decisions around your muscles and your macros.
Right. Right.
And it just
Completely.
seems very like the Western medical system of just like, give them the pill versus addressing like the actual fucking problem.
Well, and that's so true. And it requires a lot of vulnerability on not only the part of the client, but of the coach too. It takes emotional effort. And that's not something that everyone wants to give, because it's easy to give like the data and the breakdowns and like the assignments and the checklists, but to be emotionally like invested in a person and several people, because I don't know how many clients y'all have, but I know it's not just one.
You
Like
know?
it can be heavy.
Yeah. It's not just one and it's also not 100. Like full transparency, most coaching programs, their full-time coach will probably handle 75 to 100 clients. And, I felt to that as well. Like when the gym was really big, a lot of our coaches would manage around 75 clients and like you just can't.
No, how in the world could you?
Not so much again putting programs of nutrition, but like keeping tabs energetically, emotionally of
Yes.
75, 100 people. Like it's taxing.
Mhm.
And that is one of the reasons why for a one-on-one coaching program, right now the limit is 40.
Sure.
Like,
And even
yeah,
that's a lot.
yeah. Like Coach Taylor, her max is 40. And then teaching, I think she's up to 4 workouts a week. And that's kind of the sweet spot I'm finding in terms of like being able to do a good job thoroughly with each client
Sure.
and also like still having bandwidth to, as yourself as a coach, take care of yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not a coach, but I am a manager, and I completely understand, like, you have to remember to take care of yourself so you can be there, be present for the folks that you're there for, like,
Yeah.
which is not as easy as it sounds.
So I have a question for you around the
Yes.
workouts. So
Yes.
before you were doing the walking and then you jumped into working out live with queers across the country from your home, body weight, what was that initial reaction to that experience?
So I was so nervous for my first workout because it was my first one. So I was like, I have
Right.
no idea like how this is gonna go, how it's gonna work, if my setup is gonna work well, just all those sorts of things. And it was just so quickly, especially because of I had no idea that the breakout rooms were a thing. I didn't know that until I was in my first one. And then we're in a breakout room and I'm there with like a couple other folks and we're like saying hi and getting to know each other. And so that was an immediate like surprise and it was so refreshing. It's not always obvious, it's never the same folks all the time. But now that I've done more workouts and I'll be in breakout rooms and I'll be like, oh hey, hi, so like it's the people that I've seen before or I see them like in the app and on like in our message groups, to have that better sense of like we're not in the same room together, so that's cool, but we are still very much here together. And now I'm obsessed. I love it. And it's just the convenience of it. The just working out and then being done and already being home is just like for a busy gal,
Yeah.
it's a gift. It's such a
Yeah.
gift. But
I mean, I love going to the gym. What I don't love about it is that even though I plan for an hour workout, it's a 2-hour block of my time for the day because I have to
yeah.
go, park, people,
People.
shower. I'm like, no, I don't have time for that.
No, exactly. Exactly. And so to be
So,
able to just like get home, get
uh-huh.
comfy, have a couple hours to like do whatever I got to do, and then it's time for a workout, it's such a game changer.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine going back. If it's not in the convenience of my living room, I don't want it.
So you've been with us now 3 months. How has the community played a part in your journey with us so far?
So it's just been so nice to get to know folks, not just in the workouts, but like again in the app, in like the message boards, like when it's somebody's birthday, or when people have just life events happening, or even not like big life events, but it's just like their day and they're posting about their day. Like, here's a picture of this or a picture of that. Bonding with so many people over our cats, all these queer cat people, my heart. Like I'm home. I'm home. And like I was mentioning before, I have not yet met any of y'all in person, but I still feel like I know so many people. Just knowing that we're all here together, like I'm seeing all their names there and it's like I know you, I know you, I know you, I know you. It's just this sense of again that like yeah, we're not here together, but we're here together.
Exactly.
And that's been fantastic.
So how would you describe your fitness journey pre-queer gym? And how would you describe it in one word post-queer gym?
So pre-queer gym, oh my gosh. I would say I was just kind of like chugging along, not really, looking for any additional challenges or just feeling like I was doing it. Like I have like a status quo, kind of like this is maybe the best I can do.
Mm.
Now in career gym, my motivation is just like it's through the roof. And now I feel like I can fucking do anything. I feel like I can do it. I can try to do this. I can try to do that. Again, whether it's a workout or not, I'm like anything. I'm gonna build a fucking house. I know, not necessarily, but I'm gonna tackle this. I'm gonna do that. So yeah, and it has really changed how I even think about like my days now. I do still like to do my morning walking, but it's a matter of balancing that with like, but I want to work out at 7 p.m. So like I got to make sure like I'm sustaining my energy. But now that I'm eating so much better and eating the right proper amount of protein, I have energy for it. So looking at like evenings and even evenings when I'm not doing a workout, but an evening when I'm home from work, it's like, well, shit, I can tackle like this little baby thing around the apartment that I wanted to get done. Like this doesn't have to wait until
Mm.
Saturday for a day that I'm off work. Like this is something I can do now because that block of time after I'm at home from work and before I go to bed is also usable time. So
Mhm.
that has been eye opening for me. Again, seems so basic, but it's been eye-opening.
Oh, but I think people really sleep on the fact that when you self-care, you create so much more bandwidth,
Yeah, completely. That's such a good way to put it. That's a
like
perfect way to put it.
physically, emotionally, you just can do and can handle more
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The way I kind of look at it is like most people that we start working with, number one is like, how can we minimize your stress levels? And then after that, it's like through self care, not only do we minimize your stress level, but through self care, we're creating more bandwidth for more of life.
Yes, absolutely. And then there's more motivation to want to like enjoy life, because I'm taking better care of myself than I ever have. Like that's 100%, that's a fact. And so because of that, it makes me so much more excited about kind of everything,
Yeah.
like doing other stuff too.
Yeah.
Going out and doing things, I want to celebrate this work that I'm doing and this care that I'm taking of myself. Like I want to celebrate that.
What's the point, right? What's the
Yeah,
point of doing all
exactly.
this if like you're not living your best life?
Yeah, 100%. Feel like I maybe finally am.
So for those lurkers that are thinking about it, what would you tell them?
I would say I know the commitment is scary. I know I don't want to talk about money, but I know money is scary. And I
Yeah.
know that the investment is scary because it was one of like, to be completely honest, after I signed up and like paid my first amount, I was like, what the fuck did I just do? Like, what did I just do?
That
But
is
then I
so
was like,
real.
this is okay. This is fine. we're gonna do this. So I don't know if that's
That's so
calming
real.
anybody, but I'm just saying, like, and what sold me on it was you mentioning that it's an investment in yourself. Like, yeah, it is. It's money, and that's dicey always. But thinking about what I'm spending, and then since I've been in the gym, feeling like it has paid for itself in ways that I couldn't even have imagined. Again, I thought I was coming for workouts and nutrition guidance. I've gotten both of those, but I've gotten so much more, and it's difficult to even explain how it's kind of paid forward in all these other different facets of my life. So it is an investment that I'm so happy and glad that I made. If you're thinking about it, I would encourage you to do it.
Yeah. I always tell folks, I'm like, you're probably half excited, half shitting your pants right now. They're
Absolutely.
like, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, I've been there. That's what a leap of faith feels like.
it is. It is. And like, I'm not a financial guru, so don't like quote me on this, but you can't take money with you. I'm not saying put yourself in debt to do this at all. Not at all. But I'm just saying, like, you can't take it with you, but you're with you your whole life. So
Mic drop.
put that on a t-shirt.
Well, Emily, congratulations on your consistency,
Thank
on
you.
attaining a new skill of food logging and understanding how nutrition works. Congratulations on eating more and dropping weight.
Woohoo!
And it
Who'd have
just
thought?
seems like your confidence, your energy, your riz is through the fucking roof.
I feel like it, and I'm so psyched. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to continue to be here.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Your fitness inspo.
Right
Keep
on.
rocking. And y'all, if you ready to come get you some, you know what to do. Talk to you later.
See you in class.
Bye.
Bye.